Lies and deceit are capable of destroying everything, devastating the thickest forest and knocking down the strongest wall. Good morning. This is today's live on Equa TV International. I am Sambo Solomon, and with me on the set I have Burga and Jakarta.
Yo, I'm the leader, baby. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Always interesting to be around you, and then I believe today is not going to be anything less. Sure. You know, how are you guys doing?
Fine. We're fine.
Wow. Lies and deceit. This is something that is day to day. You can find it everywhere, like family, church, relationship, and then it's doing harm, but people are not really seeing it in that angle. And I feel it is very important for us today to talk about it, you know, look at what lie, what deceit, and then try to see if there are some lessons we will draw from it today, and then take something home. Have you ever been lied to? And then what was the experience?
Well, several times, and then it feels terrible. Personally, when somebody lies to me and then I know the truth, do you know, it feels so disrespectful. Like, that's how I feel. I feel you've disrespected me. I know there are times that, like, my younger brother will just, maybe I ask something and then you know how that they can feel smarter than you and all. And then I felt insulted first. And I was balanced, and I was now looking at myself. I said, like, did I go to school? So this boy would just balance and think that this, how many years that I spent in school, like, you can just come out of secondary school and just lie to me like that. I felt insulted. That was the feeling. I sat down, I was not thinking, so this person now is thinking, let me outsmart her. And then you just lied to me like that. It pained me. And I called him later and I said, see, that thing you said, is a lie. And I'm aware. You see that boarding school you went to, that maybe it's making you feel like you can outsmart me. I went to, me too, I went to that boarding school. You see all those skills and techniques, we know them too. Don't ever, I just don't ever, you stop at it.
It came with a strong one.
Yes, don't ever lie to me. And then when I finished telling him, I now told him again, the disadvantage is this, you might not know. You were just thinking that, let me say it so that she will not scold me. And then you just try to cover up. I said, I know the truth though. I might decide to keep quiet, but then this is the truth. And the implication is this: tomorrow when you tell me something, even if it's true, I will not believe you.
To believe you.
And then you will suffer it because you might be in need, or you might need a quick response to something, but because I would think you lied or you are lying, I won't take you serious. So let the truth always stand out.
Okay, I just want us to establish that that lying and deceit.
Okay.
Two different things.
Yeah. You know, they are different, but they work hand in hand. You get? So somebody, I just lied to you and I did not deceive you. Because the person is feeling it's just a statement I made. But the intention is what you need to look out for. So when you talk about lie, a lie is a false statement. Like, it's a false statement that is made with deliberate intent to deceive. Because you will not just make the statement with the intention that, oh, hooray, bye-bye, that's all. It won't stop there. You did that so that you deceive the person. Maybe from thinking of this as white to seeing it as black. So there is an intention to that spoken word or that sentence. So when you talk about lie, it is a false statement and with the intention to deceive. Then when you look at deceit, on the other hand, it is an act or a practice. Now you are moving from statement. You are acting. You are practicing. Like there's an action that you have done, and then you are the intention is to mislead. That's deceit. The intention is to mislead by false appearance or statement. It is not it, but you act in a way to make it look like. So lie is a statement, a false statement intended to mislead. And when we talk about deceit, deceit is an act or a practice that is intended to mislead with false appearance or statement.
She said everything about that. So like, there's no much you can add on it except that the fact that it always is very convincing. When somebody wants to lie to you, when somebody is trying to deceive you, it is very convincing. You are easily carried away. And that's why most of the times not most of the times, you find usually that people you have a certain form of relationship with, they easily deceive you, because at that moment you're thinking, this person, I have a relationship, this kind of relationship with this person, so I don't expect that this person will lie to me. Yeah. And so, or this person will deceive me. So at the end of the day, you just end up being convinced by sometimes it's actually the smallest things that on a normal day, if somebody different who doesn't have that form of relationship comes and tells you that, you would be cautious and be like, no, this person is probably lying. But because it is coming from a certain person, sometimes it makes you feel convinced, so you're easily misled and deceived.
You know what I want to say concerning the convincing? Mostly is the people that are lying that think, oh, they have convinced you. It's not everybody that you lie to that gets convinced with that.
True.
Either your acts, your deeds, or even the false statement.
That's true.
There are people that, on a normal day, even you know, there are people you can't lie to. You get, there are people you cannot, even when you want to, oh, it's the intention is just to cover up something, or you just don't want them to feel bad about certain situation. But there are people you cannot lie to. There are stages that people can get to. You can't lie to them. They will just know that this person is lying now. So it is almost in most circumstances, it is the person that is lying that feels he's smart, and he feels, oh, if I'm actually convincing. But while some people might believe your lie, get convinced, and then act in certain way based on how you intended them to behave, some like others can keep quiet and not even talk to you, but they have already defined you by that lie. And anything you say to them, they might not tell you that, oh bro, sis, you're lying, but whatever comes from you, they won't take it serious.
Well, you see, we're living in a world that is being governed by the father of all liars. You know, and then you find yourself in workplace, just the general activities, and then you have to interact with people from the same faith, you know, and then other faith as well, and then you are left with an open check whether to follow what is happening at that particular time or to do otherwise. The reason is that, you know, you find that you are in a place of work, and then you came late, right? And then you are trying to justify the reason why you came late, and then you are trying to attach the issue of hold up and the rest, knowing truly that you have other colleagues that apply that rule. You understand? And then when you are talking, and then the people will just be looking at you like, do you take, is that different way, like that I don't know, or is this person talking about the same place that I just you know? And then you start wondering. But in his own part, possibly maybe he's just trying to escape maybe a certain punishment. But now the question is that, you know, seeing that we are living in a world that is full of lies and deceit, what is the normal pattern? What would someone do in a situation, you know, like this, that you know that you have to define yourself based on what you believe? And then I have somebody that he was transferred somewhere. He went there, he projects a different life, you know, and then people see him differently there, not knowing that that person is married where he left. He has a wife and then 2 kids. And then when he get there, he presented himself like he's a single person, find a lady and then tell her that he wants to marry her. At the end of the day, he married the lady, you know, just like, come, let's stay. Later, the lady now discovered that he is married. And the whole situation now became chaos because the woman here with her children feel she's just there, and then a lady will just come with a child to her house, and then she begin to pour out her anger. It takes the church intervention to really help that family. At the end of the day, that lady had to leave with the child. But you look at it now, he has inflicted pain into the other lady. And then the child would leave alone, and then having that notion that his mother was being deceived. You can imagine that child growing with that. That would not be that born in that family. And these are some of the things that are happening now. People go, because of their selfish interests, they try to hide certain things, and then they present themselves in a different way. I just want us to look at other ways that people lie, either to cover up something or to achieve something. If you have a story that you feel that you can share, and then at the end of it, we'll look at how to help someone out there, that yes, it is possible. You may find yourself in such a trap, but there's a way out.
Okay, let me start. Your first question is, we live in a world or in a time where a lot of people choose to live a lie rather than living by the truth, because they feel, when I tell the truth, I'll be left alone, nobody will be around me. People, in fact, people even love lies. Like, a lot of people are followers of people that are fake. Like, when you project yourself to be who you are not, you get a lot of followers. You get, like, look at our social media. When you post contents that are truthful, and you won't get followers or likes or comments. But when you post something that is get towards the negative, in fact, even in news reporting, there are some people that will tell you, like, it is bad news that makes news, actually. Not only some people will tell you, but it's bad news that actually makes good news. People want to follow, want to, what happened and all. But when it is reported that somebody judiciously worked, and then in his field he has gotten to this height, he has attained this, and you just see few people. So it's like we like this fake or lie or deceit. So everybody wants to, because they want to get followers, they want to get people to like and comment, they want to live lie. So it is something that is becoming common, but there are still people that have integrity. We still have people that are principled, that when they tell you yes, it is yes. When they say no, it is no. They can never compromise. So even in a world or in a time where virtually everybody is moved by lies or is living a lie, you can still choose to maintain your integrity. Let your word be your yes be your yes. And do you know one good thing about people like that? When you are principled, when you have integrity, your respect follows you everywhere you go. When your name is mentioned, it is mentioned on the basis of principle and integrity. And then nobody can drag you, or in fact, when they hear your name, they say, if it's this person, like. So there are people in our society today that are highly respected and appreciated. Why? Because they decided that despite whatever is happening, they want, if it is not this, they won't partake in it. Haven't you seen people that got appointment, like big appointment that will fetch them huge sum of money, but they rejected it because they will tell you, I've built a name for myself. And then this is what is obtainable. I won't take this job because it's going to is against what I believe, is against this, and they won't do it. So even if you find yourself in a society where the new norm is lies and deceit, you can still choose to be a man or woman of integrity and principle, and you'll be respected for that. And then following your story, it is a common thing in our society today. In relationship, people lie, they deceive. When you come to the family, you see that lies and deceit. The husband will come back, and then the wife will say, oh, we don't have money for this. And then the husband, me, I don't have, the last money I have is 1,000 naira. Kundani, say you are seeing this money, he will remove it, and then he will tell you that is all, there's no money again. But the next time, unknowingly, something, you still remove money. Where is that one coming from? You get, and then there are some mothers too that, you've not sent money for
maybe
this.
Maybe that money is budgeted for something
else, and you said it's your last money. Cover up, is still like. So the woman too will tell you that she needs money for food stuff and all of that, and then you're giving that money. You decide to cut part of it and go and do one contribution, or go and deposit for one wrapper or one shoe and all of it, because you have on Sunday you want to compete with woman A and woman B. So it might look like don't worry now, if he gives me money for food, I'll cut some share from it. You think it's nothing. It's also lies. There are times you tell your children, go and tell him I'm not around. It might look like, it's nothing now, boy. You are lying, and you can't change the name. So we see that happening in relationship. People pretend to be who they are not to keep their partners. Today, among singles, you see a guy will come to a lady that is on her own, is on her own, trusting God for the right person. Imagine a guy going as far as joining a choir because he wants to lure a girl that he knows on a normal day, if you go to her, because of his bad character or habit, she won't accept him. So he will decide, I know this girl. She not a bad girl. He'll go to the bar, introduce himself. By the grace of God, I'm here to join. What part then? No. After 1 week, 2 weeks, he's asking the girl out, pretending to be, she will accept him. He will call her. Let's pray. They will pray in the morning. Did you do your devotion? Let's pray. That's how he will be praying, because he wants to get her. So she now believes that this person is God-fearing, and that's her number one attribute that she's looking forward to. She accepts the guy, and at the end of the day, life doesn't last eventually. So, but the sad thing is that people do that, and they can pretend for as long as until they get you and even get married to you. Then the real self will show.
Sure.
Like, this is the society we live in. There was a story of a young man. Like, this is true life story. This guy got a job. He was in Jos, and then he got a job in Lagos. And so he had to go to Lagos, and then he got an accommodation. He was working with a company, and he met this young lady, they start a relationship, and then from there, she comes to his house, she spent a night or two, 1 week, 2 weeks, like that. She got pregnant, and then she gave birth to the first child. They started staying together. Second child came, third child, and then even fourth. There was no official marriage, but I think they decided to marry themselves because it's not just one child, 4 children. And then uncle came back to Jos. His family are here. Like, he's not married, but his parents and siblings. So he came, and then he greeted, he left back. So he started a relationship in Jos with another lady. And then anytime he comes, they meet, they keep talking, he goes back and all. So I think they had misunderstanding with the lady in Lagos, the mother of his children, and then she had to pack out of the house with the children. So he was staying alone. So when he came back, he now told his the girl who was in a relationship in Jos that he wanted them to get married, and then she accepted. Like, he has been all nice, and she didn't see any reason to say no. He's only in Lagos because he's working, and then she accepted him. When they started dating, and then he asked to marry her, she accepted the marriage proposal. So wedding preparation was ongoing and all. The other lady in Lagos with the 4 children is now staying on her own with the children. So it got to a point that information came to the church that this guy has a lady he kept in Lagos with 4 children. It was like 3 months to the wedding, and then the church, they were already going through the counseling classes and all of that. And the church called him and asked questions. He said he's not married to the lady, she was just his girlfriend and all of that. And he said, we learned that you even have children. He denied it. And he said, okay, fine. Please, can you get us the contact of this young lady so that we can talk with her and just clarify issues? Because this information is coming from someone that's and then he said, he doesn't have her contact again. She was his ex, but he's going to try and get it. So the church kept waiting for him. It was 2 months. He didn't say anything. The process of preparation was still ongoing. Down to 2 weeks to the wedding, they called him and asked. They just decided to call the two families of the lady and then the guy. And they said, this is the situation at hand. We learned that he has children and he's saying no to it. But we said he should give us the number of the lady. That way we can, if she gives, the lady say there's nothing, and then they can go ahead and wed. And then they've not had anything from him. So at this moment, they are taking their hands off this marriage. They asked his family, they said they are not aware of him getting married to anybody, but he has children and a wife dear. So the church decided not to join them, and they just dismissed that wedding. Announcements was made that they can't do that because this was what they had. You know, normally they will ask you if you know anything that the church needs to know. And for him, he did that. He covered up so that he can get that girl. Yes, there was no official marriage, but look at how that you lure this lady. You have 1, 2, 3, even 4 kids, and then you're coming back to deceive, acting like you have never been married, like you don't have children, you don't have anybody in your life, and the whole aim is to lure that girl, get married to her. Then tomorrow, one woman will come with 4 children and say, "These are your."
It's my husband.
It's terrible, honestly. And I like the fact we're talking about lies and deceit. The effect, maybe people don't know. You might just lie and it will work, and the person will believe you and act in a certain way, and you'll be happy. Oh, I deceived him, I outsmart him. But it will definitely come out. The truth will definitely come out. You won't want to see or even experience the consequences. Think about this brother now. He's not getting married to the lady eventually. It has been cancelled.
2 weeks to the
2 weeks to the wedding. Have you thought of the expenses, what he has spent so far? Lies, deceit. I don't think there are so many stories.
Yeah, actually, there are so many stories, and like this one is like a big one, but there's one that a lot of families, parents, even we are guilty of, and that is that you make false promises. You promise, you are having a discussion about something, and then you just tell somebody like, "Oh no, don't worry, I'm going to get this for you," and you know it in your heart that you're not going to do it. Especially the ones that our parents were doing for us when we were younger. They tell you, "Don't worry, if you get first position, you get." But that's deceit. It's actually.
My mother is watching. I will have given an example with her, but let me just keep quiet.
It was actually a lie. So even those tiny ones are lies, and they are deceitful. Those things we should not be doing. Yes, it seems like it's something tiny and something small, something that will just get you to pass it, or maybe you're being asked who left these plates here or something of that nature, and you'll be like, that wasn't me, but you were the one who did it. It's a small thing, but it's an outright lie, and it's not right. I'm trying to get an example for half-truths where you have a situation and you need to say, for instance, you came late to work, the illustration you were giving earlier on, you came late to work, and somebody is asking you what happened, and then because you heard that this route had an issue of traffic, you just conclude, "Oh, I had traffic issues," but the truth is that you visited somebody before you came to office. It's not a lie, there was traffic on the way, yes, but you were not there. So all those things, they are all lies that we should not engage in. It's terrible, because when the person you're lying to actually finds out the truth, it hurts. That means personally, if I was the one being lied to, I'll feel like you think I'm a fool. I have my IQ is like as tiny as a mustard seed. Like, it's just like, I'll be feeling like, excuse me, what does this man take me for? Like, do I look this stupid? So, a lot of times it hurts when people do that. And sometimes we think that when you just do this thing, maybe you're saying a little white lie, that it will not harm anybody, it's just to cover up for somebody else. At the end of it, those little white lies lies, when they come to light, it's like a whole new, like it hurts somebody else. At the end, it will affect somebody. You're trying to protect one person. It would hurt another person later on when the truth finally comes out. Because the truth about lies and diseases is like, they never stay hidden. At the end of the day, whether you're alive or you're dead, it will still come out. And the hurt will now be on the people who are still alive and living.
Prudence, have you not seen people that are called habitual liars?
No.
Like
that
you
one's
see,
serious.
you don't even have reason to lie, but you just lie.
Just lie.
You're sitting with a colleague and you're just interacting, and the person will just tell you, I did this, I had to buy this for 100K, I did, it's like you get, and you didn't even ask the person, but the person will just lie. Yeah. And then you look at the person and be like, wow, okay, so I'm this stupid. You like you said. So people lie. Some people, but like they are habitual liars that they lie for no reason. You just say, I actually have a land in Rayfield. I just don't want to develop it now. Maybe, and the person doesn't even have even a broom in that Rayfield that he's talking about.
The question that I always ask, you know, like the people like you are describing now, I ask this question: why must you lie in the first place?
So that you see them like,
it's for image. You've projected this image. This is who people are seeing you as. For instance, somebody will see you as the most honest person in the world. Like, just think that, oh, this person is honest, and the person has probably mentioned it. I see you as a very honest person. I like the way you behave. So sometimes you keep on lying to keep the act, so that person will not stop seeing you as the honest person he thinks you are.
And that's the terrible thing about lying. You lie the first time, and then you feel, oh, I actually outsmart this person. Tomorrow you lie again. The next minute you lie. You continue to lie for no reason. That's the terrible thing about it. That's why people call them habitual liars. And you will find yourself in a situation where you need help, but you can't get it because you have given yourself an image. And then people will say, you that you can afford help, 100K, why will I buy a plate of food of 500 for you? It means you can afford it. So it's a terrible thing. And you know, some of us also engage in some kinds of lie that we don't know that it's actually like flattery. You just see, this your hair is very fine, it's beautiful. Once the person turns, you say, hey, you do not see the way the front is, they know what in her mind she's feeling like one fine girl. Like, you look at somebody and say, this your shoe is nice, where did you buy it? And then the person is happy. Once the person, she says, hey, I'm going to boost the you laugh at the person, you insult the person, and you know. So we flatter people, and we just think like, oh, we just want them to feel appreciated. But you don't have to lie to them. Like, there are subtle ways. Maybe you feel when you tell the person the hair is not looking good, the person will be angry with you. But there's a way you can tell the person, oh, this hair, why, if they had done it in this particular way, like, even the person will be angry, you've said your mind. But they're the one that you look at the person and say, this shoe is fine, where will you take me to? And then once the person passes, say, hey, did you see the boots that this person
there's something about being honest and upfront about things like this. Later on, the person would appreciate you. That's the truth. I think I wore a certain color of clothes one time and I went out, and somebody saw me and was like, oh, you're looking fine. And then another person came and saw me like, I'm not too keen on this color for your skin, for your skin tone. It doesn't really look appreciative. I wasn't, okay, I might have been hurt at that moment because I was expecting somebody to say, oh, you're looking so fine and all. But then later on, when I came and looked in the mirror, I'm like, okay, yes, this person actually told me the truth. So I would appreciate that person better than the person who lied to me and told me, oh, you're looking awesome in this color. So the truth is that sometimes flattery doesn't count. Like, you might want to flatter somebody, but be honest about it. If the person is actually looking good, tell the person he's looking good. But if it is just somebody's not even, don't lie to Bikonu. I'm using Igbo now. Bikonu, please, I beg. Outside person will say, don't Allah. Don't lie to somebody.
Don't flatter people.
Yes.
You know it's not true. There's no need. If you know, like what I do personally, if it's not good, if I can't even tell you, there's no need for me to talk about it.
Yes.
So you don't have to, because you want them to feel appreciated or feel high of themselves. You just say, hey, you want to start a conversation.
Because later when the person actually finds out the truth, it hurts the person.
And then the person will now know that you were actually flattering. There are times that you know that, oh, you made a hair that you've not been comfortable with. Anytime I see your face on the mirror, I say, hey, but let me just manage it since I spent so amount of money making this hair, you get.
Yes.
So you'll be like, oh, let me just manage the hair. Then you are just coming out managing that hair. Someone will just say, hey, did you see how fine you are looking? Where did you make that hair? No, it's not good. It's not good. So if you don't have to talk. You don't have to talk. You can just decide to just keep quiet. I don't think flattering is not a good thing, especially when you know that.
There's one thing again that I noticed, that people tell lies simply because they are looking for favor.
Yes.
And then maybe you have a boss, and then any small given opportunity, you meet him, you say certain things about certain people that are not true, simply because the person should see you in a different light, like you are the one that is with him always, like you are watching his back, and then trying to see, because that thing normally mostly happen in the political terrain. Political terrain, they call them KJK. Those people that go around gather information, to their principal. That's when they will come and say, you see this judge that you are seeing, always she'll be posting about you, saying good things about you. She is with that other opponent of yours. She's loyal to him because this is what I had them discussing, and blah, 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 blah. Just to paint you black, and then him gaining favor. Because sometimes when they bring this information, the principal will not count certain amount and then give them, and they go, and then tomorrow they are cooking another lie to come and say about different person, not Joyce again, like that, and then before you know it, the thing is eating the system up, because there are some people that such people projected them in a bad light at the end, because like we rightly said, some of these things you will see as if it will last forever, and before you know it, then the truth will begin to surface. Like you and the person, now we have a contact, and then you discuss, and then the person is seeing the whole thing differently, and then before you know it, already the damage has been done. Now you knowing you don't have trust for that person again. There's this constant loss of trust, because once you see that person, even if he's saying the truth, you just don't like the person, even if he's saying the truth. And then there's this thing that people say, white lies, like you just say something to just cover something, like it's for good. And I hear so many people saying, when Abraham was asked about his wife, he told
her to say she's a sister.
She's a sister. That's a white lie. So sometimes people will just do something, and then they will bring some certain scripture just to paint the whole thing in their favor. So these are some of the things that are really happening. I don't know how true it is. When you say white lie, is there anything like white lie?
Some people
is there a big lie, a small lie?
Some will call it scientific lie.
Okay, another name again.
Yes, you know why? They will tell you that even like how that they use intelligence to cook that lie. Even when you use scientific methods to check that lie, you come at the end, you see that what they said is actually true. But they take their time to cook such lies in a way that you won't even find out that it is true. But like we said earlier, truth will always find its way out of that. So when you check even the story of Joseph and his brothers in the Bible, what they did was something you can call white lies, half-truths, or what scientific lie. When they sold him, they took his garments to the father and said, so that he would think that he was killed with stains on it, and the dad lived in pain, crying for. So this is an evidence. So they brought it with intention to make him feel that maybe he was killed and eaten by some animals. But it was just for them to cover up. So you think the fact that they came up with evidence, some people will say, white lie, half-truth, scientific lie. because they have something to prove. And then, but the implication is that this man lived in pain. The father lived in pain, thinking that the son was actually killed. But then they knew that they just used that to cover up what they actually did. These are just some specific kinds of lie. Like we've been mentioning, the half-truths, like you said, lie is lie, deceit is deceit, no matter the name you call it. The whole aim is the intention is to deceive people, either to seeing things in a light that you want them to see or to act in certain ways that are not supposed to be. That's the whole intention. You talk about false promises. You know that you will not. I'm at work, but this weekend I will see you. But you know in your heart that you will not see that person. But you actually promise the person you will see him. Is a lie. Why promise your children things that you know you will not do? You keep promising them, when you come first, I'm going to do this. When you come second, I will do this to you. If you do this, I will do this. But you don't do it. It might look light, but it's a lie, and it's not good. The children will learn from it. Let's not promise what we know we will not fulfill. It's better you will keep quiet. When the child, you encourage the child, do your best and all. At the end of the day, surprise the child with that package you intend to, rather than say a thing that you know. There's difference between, there are people that promise with the intention of actually doing it, but maybe they don't have the means at that time. But the one that you know you will not do it, and you find it commonly among friends, among relationship. I will do this, don't worry, by weekend I will come, and you don't do it. In the office, you promise your colleagues things you don't meet up to. Family, you see that. So even false promises, flattery, like I said, there's this false doctrine. Today we have preachers that will quote the scripture to suit what they believe, and they want their followers to also believe that. You see people living their lives anyhow. They will say, even the Bible say, go into the world and multiply. The person following 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 women, like, and the person is married, and you tell you, even the scripture say, go into the world and multiply. False doctrine. Like, people quote the scripture, they go as far as doing that. There's issue of hypocrisy. It's also a lie or deceit. When you act like hypocrites, are like actors, you are playing a role that you are not, because you want people to see you as one alpha human being. You get. So maybe you don't know, but hypocrisy is also a form of deceit. It's better you be who you are. We've talked about half-truth. There's issue of self-deception. Also, today we're in a time where the issue of atheists is very common. Like, because you don't want to believe that God exists, you begin to come up with some scientific innovation to back up your belief that there's no God. And then you see the people promoting it. It was before that people are even shy to identify that they don't believe in God. But now they come out, in fact, they hold programs on media stations. They have pages. They keep giving you reasons why God does not exist. Self-deception. But in their heart, they know that there is God. But because they want to back their belief, they come up with some scientific methods or innovations to back that it is all lies and then deceit. And like you start talking about the reasons, there are so many reasons why people tell lies. You talk about the fact that in an office or an organization, somebody will keep going to the boss and saying, oh God, you are this, you are that, and he continued to praise the Oga, bring talks about other people, say all manner of things about his colleagues, saying that they are not for you. We see that in politics, how that people will see somebody, hey, back, like they keep saying things, but when they turn back, they say, he's on the ballot now. Well, this one, we're just doing it to collect our money. Like, we see that happening, and it's really terrible. People lie because of selfish gains, like, so that this man can just say, take this now, take this now, like, do this. So they do that for selfish gain. Like, this is one of the reasons why in businesses we see a lot of people lying, because they have product, they have some services that they want you to patronize. They will lie to you about a product, and then you just buy it and then see that.
They call it marketing. Yeah,
they give it name. That's the funny part. Like, they have truth that she says. It is lie, but you don't want to call it. So it means you too, you know that it's not a good thing. But you don't want to call it lie. You are giving it a name, half-truth. So we also see that with business owners. They lie so that you acquire their product. At the end of the day, nobody will tell you, if you buy this cream, it's going to burn your skin. They will not tell you. Then when you finish buying, you have one plaster here, you want to go and meet them. They will still justify that. So lie is lie.
Lies, lie.
Deceit is deceit. No matter how you try to cover it up or come up with some pride and envy, there are reasons why pride and envy is one reason too why people lie. Because they don't want to be seen in, like, I want to always be at the top. In the office, they should see me as the big boy, as the big girl. Pride. So they lie. You claim maybe a shoe you bought for 1,000 naira, you tell your colleagues it's actually 50K, and they brought it for me from Dubai and all. You bought it in Terminal, Sunday market. You get, but you lie about it, pride. And then because you're envious of that, your colleague that maybe has the means, and probably they have older ones that are into businesses, they sell clothes and shoes, and because you want to also feel among, you're envious of that person, your own pride will now make you start calling names or things that, and maybe one of your colleagues saw your son, you're picking those shoes.
While picking those shirts and those shoes there, you know.
And sometimes you actually lie thinking that you are being kind to somebody. For instance, somebody is in the wrong, and they're like asking, where have you been? You've not been on seat. For instance, in an office setting, you've not been on seat, we've been looking for you, where have you been? And the person is like, oh, I just went to the restroom. And you, who has no business covering up for this person, you just end up saying, oh, yeah, I did see him going to the restroom, but you saw him going out of the office. You saw him going somewhere else, not even in the office environment. So all those things are actually reasons why people lie, and then it could be out of habit. Some people are just habitual liars. They cannot just stop lying. It's in them. They have made it life. Like a lot of politicians that we have these days, you don't expect truth from them because you know that this person will just come and he will lie to you straight up. He will not even blink an eye when he's lying to you. That's how some people are just used to lying. Yes. And you find them everywhere you go. Like you probably find them in your office environment, you find them even in your homes, because they have already built that habit, and it's so hard for them to actually drop it and let it go. So a lot of times, even we who think that we are not lying, we're not deceiving people, sometimes we end up doing it subconsciously or because we think it is for a good cause. And even while doing that, we are really, really not. It doesn't make sense why you should lie. Sometimes it is better to tell somebody the truth, the absolute truth. For instance, if you know how a bank, all these bank, what do they call them? The people that go to go and recruit people to come and open marketers. They will just tell you certain things, and when you open your account with them, you don't find those things that they're talking about. Or a certain soap that will tell you, when you bath with this soap, you look as special as the lady that they put there. But when you come and
you will be shocked. They will tell you in 7 days. That's the more reason why you should run away from such.
Exactly.
There's one particular soap that we've been using in our family, like growing up. That's a particular soap, in the family. And then there's this particular picture of a lady that this is how fresh you look. Just so for recent, I was just asking myself. Yes, I said, if those things are true, then by now I think I said, well, like I said, the issue of marketing, they would just say, we just have to do this, and then who those people that lie, they always think they are smarter than those people that they sit and they listen to them. And then one thing that I know is not everything that you must respond. I told myself, I said, it's not everything that we must respond. That's why the houseman will said, Ime fadawawani, mejiba wawani. Can you interpret that? The person
that is saying is a fool. The person that is hearing is not a fool.
And before you know it, you just open your mouth, and then you are saying, and then the person is just looking at you, and then he's nodding, and then you leave, and then he's like, just imagine, what does this person take me for, But let me just read this, John chapter 8, verse 44. You are of your father, the devil, and you want to do the desires of your father. He was a murderer from the beginning. He does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. whatever he speaks, whenever he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own nature, for he is a liar and the father of lies.
Just imagine that if you are lying, see who is your father with that head, that color that they will paint him for us in movies. Like that, so that's your father. No, we shouldn't have the devil as our father. And then how can we avoid that? By speaking the truth. You know, like we said earlier on, these things have consequences. Maybe people don't know, but you need to know today. Truth will always find itself. It's always embarrassing when you lie to somebody and then the truth just comes out. Like, look at the story of Ananias and Sapphira in the Bible. They sold their property, and then maybe because of pride, when they were asked, they said, we brought all the money now. Like, and then maybe some people were giving their maybe some people were giving their widows' mites, and then they just said, we sold our land and we gave everything. That was when Peter asked them, but that was not true. What happened to them? They died immediately. Like, we're in a time of grace, but should we take the grace for granted? No. Like I will always say, we don't know the day, the time, nor the hour where the Son of Man would just come. Like, would you want to be taken, like just when you just finish lying and then the rapture just occurs? What will happen? So I think it's important that we desist from that. There are people that make statements. It's not with the intention of lying, actually. But at the end of the day, it's not true. For example, a grandmother is asked, this is your grandchild, how old is he? And she tells you that he should be 7. And then later on, you ask the mother says he's 8. She didn't actually say it with the intention of deceiving you to believing that it's all grown. But because she's the grandmother and she didn't really know the age of the child, and she just presumed that, you know how that some people can measure your age by your height. And so there are people that might make statements. The intention is not to mislead you, but they are just unaware of the situation. And then how the person might even tell you can just say, he should be. And then you ask the mother, and the mother said he's 8. Like with all authority, because with deafness, like what's the word? I'm speaking Greek now. So you get, when you ask the mother, and then the mother now tells you the age, you won't say, that grandmother is a liar. That woman is a liar. No. By virtue of her position as the grandmother, she's just telling you that he should be. So you shouldn't take that as the person trying to lie to you. But there are consequences to lying. Number one, when you lie, you harm other people. Look at the story of Joseph and his brothers. They left the father in pain. So because he kept weeping that his son was killed, but that was not the reality of the situation. And when you also lie, you make other people to sin. You came and then you told somebody that, they said we should follow this way. And that's not true. And then that thing is wrong. Maybe you're in an office, you're trying to steal an amount of money, and you just come to the person, Oga said you should sign, you should sign. And it's not true. And the person signed. At the end of the day, money is being embezzled and all of that. So you mislead people, you make other people to sin. So I think it's one thing that people should avoid lying, because or deceit is not, it won't end in your own self. You drag other people. And then lying leads to loss of respect and confidence. Like you said, when somebody likes you, you just feel like, is that this person takes me for a fool? Like you feel stupid and all of that. It's very disrespecting to lie to somebody. The person might just hear you and keep quiet, but he has created an image about you, and nothing you will say to that person will take serious. So it's actually disrespecting. And we can overcome lying. That's the good news. You can overcome it. Maybe you think, it has become a habit, and people look at me as a habitual liar, so whatever I say is not true, and I always find myself lying. Like, even when I'm supposed to say the truth, you finish talking and you just say, I just lied. You can change.
Sure.
You can change. And how can you do it? Truth, love truth and hate lies. When you have that in the image of the fact that the devil is the father of all liars, God detests lies, because the language of the devil, then at that moment you can start thinking of embracing the truth and speaking truth at all times. You can fill your heart with the truth. Philippians chapter 4:8, it says, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, meditate on these things. Whatever things are true, meditate. So if the thing is not truthful, there's no need for me to even spend time thinking about that. Stay far from falsehood. You know, there are people that it's just by virtue of your association that you find yourself lying, because your friends are always telling you to do things that are not right. So now, because you want to cover up, you always want to say lies or deceive people. So I think you can stay away from associations that are filled with liars or that lies a lot. When you do that, I think it can help you stay away from lie.
And there's also one from First Peter chapter 3 verse 10 says, "For whoever loves life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech." So there are a lot of good things that come from you being honest and true. And then Proverbs 6:16-19 says, "There are 6 things that the Lord hates, and 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, then a lying tongue." So it is part of the things that God hates. He hates a lying tongue. Yes. And it goes on and on and on. A false witness, that's also part of it. And then a heart that devises wicked schemes, all those two are part of being deceitful and all that. So when you read those kind of things and you're conscious of the fact that God hates it, then you'll be conscious when you are around people who are speaking falsehood. Or like you were saying, you have to keep yourself away from a group of friends that would continue to speak falsehood. So when you are in a situation like that, and
bad
you know,
company corrupt
exactly, so you would be conscious about that, and then you would watch the company you keep. You would watch what you ingest, what you digest. Yeah.
Yeah, the Colossians chapter 3 verse 9 says, "Do not lie to one another, since you laid aside the old self with its evil practice." So that means if you are in Christ, you are a new creation. If then you used to lie, then know that now you are wearing a new garment. Then you have to know the word of God, dip yourself in it, know what the Bible says, and then practice it, and then make sure you stay away from bad company, like Joyce said. Proverbs chapter 12 verse 22 says, "Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but those who deal faithfully are his delight." If you want to be the delight of the Lord, then definitely you have to stop lying. Like you said earlier, this issue of promises. If you promise something that you cannot do with whatever intent, is a lie, is a sin. Anything you promise that you know you cannot do is a sin. And you see, it's common. People just feel, let me just say it and let's just pass. But you can't just keep saying and just keep passing while it keep accumulating. You understand? So it is very important, like you say, there's a way out. The way out is Jesus Christ. Receive him as your personal Lord and Savior, and then know these are the guidelines and principles of how to live a Christian life. God hates liars. He said, those that lie, that lying lips are abomination to him. So if you know that you love God, then definitely you should stay away from things that you know God hates. And it is very key, it is very important that we should live according to our calling. We should live according to our calling.
It has been a swell time with you guys. Let's do this again. Thank you, Prudence. Thank you, Sambo Solomon, for doing this. And to our viewers out there, thank you so much for staying with us on today's edition of Today's Life. Remember that you can change from that attitude of lie by loving God. When you love God first, you will love to speak his language and you will love to abide by his word. And before we go, I'll leave you with Psalms 24:3-5. Who will stand in God's holy place? Those who have clean hands and a pure heart, those who have not lifted up their souls to falsehood and have not sworn deceitfully. This is the one who will be blessed by the Lord. Go and live a truthful life. Until we come your way tomorrow, same time. Bye-bye.